this bit is for the ethics panel next week, okay? So Riley was your, well, we use the word boyfriend for now, but I'm not sure the boy part is accurate. Anyway, the stories, you've just caught Riley in bed with his cousin Jeff, and you're breaking it up, okay? So awkward smile, Riley comes up behind you, and you ignore him because you're dead angry. Alright, love, and action. Take your glasses off and get upset, mate. Hot girl you couldn't get in real life is angry about you and Jeff. Very good. And big sigh, AOC, big sigh, heavy heart. And Riley, you just walk up behind her and give her a goodbye hug. Like a little goodbye hug. Sorry it didn't work out and all that. Okay, give him a little back rub, AOC. Just a little comfort rub. Sorry it didn't work out. That's it. Very good. Okay, Riley, you're not a spouse anymore, so walk away, mate. You've been dumped. Think Incredible Hulk and you'll get the right idea. Jeff, can we get the music, please? And hold for photography. Very good. And hold. And that's a wrap. Right, let's go and get bagels.
What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and not AOC, not the queen bee of morality, not the presidential candidate for 2028. By the way, she probably will be. I'm not kidding you. If you look at there was a recent survey, I think if CNN did it, so of course you know it's very true. But in this case, when they're talking about Democrats, I would think it should be relatively correct. AOC was near the top, just below Gavin Newsom, as the likely person to be the Democratic nominee in the next presidential election. Now, you think that's bad. If it's Gavin Newsom, it would be disastrous for this country. If it was AOC, like, I think I would turn into one of those stupid libs who's talked about leaving the country. I hear Poland is nice. Maybe I'll go to Poland. I just, the idea that, you know, you could have, I mean, people think it's not a real possibility, but I assure you, AOC, very likely shot. I wouldn't bet on it, but, you know, if I had to bet my money, it would probably be on Gavin Newsom. But it's a long time. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the midterms yet. Democrats, we've seen, can basically pick a candidate out of their hat 8 weeks before the election and still come within, have a puncher's chance of actually winning the election. We have a mini scandal for AOC, though. AOC scored her then boyfriend free tickets to the Met Gala by calling him her spouse. Now, if any of you did this, if I did this, I don't care, right? Like, if you buy something, if you buy a product and it breaks 2 months later and you don't have the receipt, and then you just buy a new one on Amazon and return it because F Amazon, you know, to replace it, I don't care. But you're not running for president. You're not a congressional leader. You're not an elected official using your position of power to score not just free tickets, but thousands of dollars in fraud. And she was found guilty of that. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez falsely claimed spousal privileges to snake her then boyfriend, Riley Roberts, a free ticket to the swanky Met Gala all the way back in 2021, according to the House Ethics Committee, which ordered her to repay the $250 perk on top of an additional $3,000 she also fraudulently received in gifts. Roberts scored the freebie worth $250, but she's considered a spouse. Ocasio-Cortez's attorney claimed to the ethics panel in May, as part of a more than 3-year investigation, God, they are wasting time, into the congresswoman for improperly accepting nearly $3,000 in hair accessories, shoes, and her infamous tax the rich dress. She and Roberts got engaged in 2022, a year after the affair, which cost $35,000 a person. House rules prohibit lawmakers from accepting gifts. The panel's July 25th report noted, with an exception for tickets to, quote, charity balls or widely attended events for themselves, spouses, or their children. A preliminary probe, giggity, of the Office of Congressional Ethics that preceded the House Ethics inquiry deemed the move, quote, permissible because the Bronx and Queens Democrat opted to treat a long-term significant other as synonymous with spouse, which was consistent with a prior decision. No, it's just because you've lied for a long time doesn't actually make the lie true or acceptable. It just means you've been lying a long time. But House Ethics said in a unanimous decision that it was not based on any law or precedent then in existence, since the spousal privileges only apply to members who are actually married. The 26-page report also found that at the same time that AOC was seeking to take advantage of exceptions to the gift rule only applicable to spouses or other certain relatives, she was not disclosing her boyfriend's financial interests as required of members who are legally married. Members are also required to list their spouse's assets and liabilities as a part of the financial disclosure forms filed annually in the House. The far left representative co-sponsored a bill this Congress that would also ban stock trades for spouses, though Roberts would have had a carve-out given in the relationship status if legislation passes. Additionally, Ocasio-Cortez has listed Mr. Roberts as her spouse on paperwork filed with the House relating to privately sponsored travel, although the two were not legally married at the time of the, quote, gifted travel. So she stole fizzy lifting drinks, she stole the travel, she stole the dress, she stole the tickets, she stole the hair accessories, and she stole for her boyfriend. Did her boyfriend also get a gift basket at that event? You actually see she has hair accessories that she posted to Instagram to advertise for them, it seems like. Ocasio-Cortez, now the Ethics Committee stated that the Congresswoman's lawyer acknowledged that the boyfriend was not a relative under the applicable regulations, but failed to pay the bill. By the way, a bill that isn't even that expensive. Well, I don't know if he would have had to pay the $35,000 or if he would have paid the whatever $250 that they paid to have AOC there. I can't be totally sure. $250. If it's a fancy dinner and you get food and whatever, that's a reasonable price. I mean, it's expensive, but $35,000? Hell no. In coordination with the committee, she now agreed to pay for her boyfriend's ticket, the price of the charity that put on the gala, and cough up another $2,733 for the fair market value just to rent her infamous Tax the Rich couture dress, as well as her luxury shoes, jewelry, floral hairpiece, and handbag. One of the campaign staffers also stiffed the vendors and pressured them to knock down the price of the dress from around $1,300 to just $300, eventually shelling out $990.76 for the attire after being bugged for months and threatened with a New York State Department of Labor referral. So she tried to steal the dress and only paid when she got told that she was going to get outed. The committee valued the glamorous getup at $3,700, including the gown, which has a retail price tag of more than $18,000. She accepts the ruling and will remedy the remaining amounts as she's done in each step of this process, Casca said in a statement. The couple had been together, don't really care. She hasn't been seen wearing the $3,000 ring. By the way, whoa. I mean, I'm not like... $3,000 is a lot of money for a piece of jewelry that is ultimately just, a piece of costume. But apparently she's not wearing her engagement ring anymore. The couple has been together since 2016, but Roberts hasn't yet tied the knot, even after proposing 3 years ago. She hasn't been seen wearing the $3,050. How do they know the exact amount he spent on the ring? He's not a politician, is he? He gave her since at least November 2023, according to the Washington Free Beacon, which first reported on the ethics lapses. A congresswoman for Ocasio-Cortez congressional. Now, I wonder if he used AOC's name to get a deal on that ring, and that's why she's hiding it. Either that, or she's on the rocks with him. I don't know. This is Trump on AOC, by the way, which is great.
But she's very low IQ, and we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good time.
I don't think he took an IQ test there, but, you know, that's just Trump vamping and roasting people like AOC. So I'm fine with that. You know, I guess, like,
I'm outside the arena in Conception Bay South.
This on top of, you know, Republicans slap AOC with a fresh ethics violation over whether or not fiance Riley Roberts is actually her spouse. This is yesterday. Republicans on the House Ethics Committee have reprimanded New York Representative AOC after she reportedly said in government filings that her fiance Riley Roberts both is and isn't her spouse. Is this tax fraud? Like, is she like claiming him on her taxes? What's going on here? In a July 2025 report, the Ethics Committee criticized AOC for listing Roberts as her spouse on federal documents that she filed before attending the gala, which we already talked about. Similarly, the panel also stated that Roberts was listed as a spouse on documents to attend the gala, but he wasn't listed as a spouse on Ocasio-Cortez's financial filings. Okay, well, that's good. If he had been listed as a spouse, he would have been forced to disclose stock and other financial holdings. Well, that's pretty interesting. I don't think she was bending the rules. I mean, AOC was breaking the rules. She was using her position of power to steal. By the way, you know, Doug's showing on why AOC could take the White House in 2028 and Kamala Harris won't.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris returning to the spotlight with a new book titled...
Senior writer for the Washington Examiner, Joe Concha, joins us now. Joe, so she has the book out, 107 Days.
Of the Democratic Party.
Nobody cares about her book. Here's the thing. First, it could be argued that AOC is even stronger than other presidential candidates at this moment in their careers or respective races. At this point, in the 2008 election cycle, coinciding with the summer of 2005, Barack Obama was not even considered enough of a serious candidate to be included in polls. Likewise, in the 2020 primary, which Harris was forced to withdraw from after being before a single vote was even cast, Harris's high water mark in polling 2 years out was 7% in an Axios poll. That was good for fifth place, trailing former president by 15 points and even Oprah Winfrey by 9. Conversely, Ocasio-Cortez is already a top finisher in the 2028 Democratic primary polls. Per the White House polling aggregator, AOC at 10% ranks third behind former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and his baby-buying buggy bumpers, and Gavin Newsom both at 13%. Now listen to this. Pete Buttigieg is never even... America's not electing a gay baby buyer. That's not happening. Okay, so take him out of it. Gavin Newsom is so widely hated that I think he doesn't have an option. AOC, young people like her. Like, I'm not saying she can beat JD Vance, but I'm saying she has the same chance that maybe Bernie Sanders had. I don't think a lot of people care for her socialist ideals, but she's still there. In individual polls where Harris and AOC are tested together, AOC held a 4-point lead over Kamala Harris, 19% to 15%. Similarly, political betting sites such as Polymarket show Ocasio-Cortez is the second in odds, trailing Newsom by just 4 points. Harris is in fifth by just 6. Now, Harris says she's not going to run, but we'll see about that. I have a feeling she will probably run. I think AOC is still far too communist to be mainstream. I think it'll be a good signal what happens with the Mamdani race in New York. If Mamdani wins New York, she's going to be the candidate, at least as it stands right now. And those could always be a wild card that comes out of the woodwork, like Michelle Obama or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.